Thank you all for joining. This is my second talk that I've done here. So I really am thrilled to be doing this because this is a very important and very dear topic for me. So I hope that some of what we talk about will give you something to think about and maybe take some action to continue on your path of health and loving your body. So we're going to talk about that beautiful body of yours. How well do you take care of it and how well do you love it? This may sound a little funny, but I actually suggest taking some time when you're alone. Get ready to really take a good look at your body, not at what you think of as your image of yourself, but at the shell of what makes you walk, run, sit, and stand, and appreciate it. Get naked. It's really an interesting concept to do. Just get naked and stand in front of the mirror and appreciate your body. It took some of us through childbirth. It took others through recovery of illnesses and accidents. It amazes us when we do something unexpected that we don't know we could do. And you gotta love it. It's the only body you'll ever have. As we age, many of us come down too hard on this shell. We don't like pieces of it. It doesn't conform to what experts say is beautiful. I'm going to read you a poem that Rosemary sent me, which I loved. After listening to it, I'd like to hear what resonated with you, how it made you feel. So I'm going to invite you all to take a deep breath, sit comfortably where you are, and close your eyes while I read. I Hope You Get Old by Jan Arden. I hope you get old. I hope time is heavy on your bones, draped over you like an embrace from God. I hope the backs of your hands become deep maps of all the places you have been. Dark stains where your fingers dipped into clay and dirt and mud. I hope you get old. I hope your time fills your heart with joy and triumph. I hope you have enough obstacles to teach you character and empathy and enough challenges to bestow you with uniqueness. I hope pain shows you how strong you are and the value of a true friend. I hope you've been alone enough to know yourself. I hope you know more quiet than you find chaos. I hope you get old, that time wraps around your legs like a desperate lover. I hope you can look into the faces of people you have loved and cherished, and that you leave behind echoes of grief because you were loved in return. I hope you give thanks for every waking moment, for what you have and for what you have not. I hope you get old. I hope you make things that last. I hope you've inspired people. I hope you've helped someone. I hope grace rests at your feet. I hope you forgive everything you did not get quite right. Taking another deep breath, gently open your eyes and return to our time. I'd like to hear from a couple of you what you felt hearing this poem. Anyone want to share? Anel.
I feel appreciation for my body. I feel appreciation for Rosemary, who found that magnificent poem, and appreciation for you for reading it and taking on this topic, which is so crucial. Thank you.
Thank you. Diane?
I was going to say gratitude when we write, even for the smallest things that our body does for us, but our body is, you can't divide your body into just the physical. It encompasses your spiritual, your emotional side. It's all interconnected. And one of the things that I find helpful to me is when I take a moment just to feel that gratitude at waking up in the morning and being there and trying to find a few things that I feel grateful for, but
Absolutely.
including my body in that. So thank you.
Waking up in the morning and feeling all the parts of your body that are there with you. It's really amazing sometimes. Ellie, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, I wanted to, what came to me that was the leaving grief.
Mm.
Um, that's very salient for me right now.
Thank you. Yes.
More, I think, and also the sense that the body has a certain sacredness to it,
Absolutely.
which has totally been, which I'm very influenced right now about all that's going on with this hostage deal. So that was very much abused in this past 13 months,
Yes, it was.
and maybe still is. Thank
We
you,
are gifted
Devati.
with one body, and it's a gift. Thank you all for sharing. Um, Most of us, as you were all just saying, don't get everything right, especially the way we deal with our bodies and our health. So, what are some of the concepts that you have about health? What does health mean to you? What do you think about when we think of a healthy body? I'd like to talk about that for a few minutes. So, I was going to have us break up into dyads, but since we're such a small group, I think we'll just share. What does a healthy body mean to you? Anyone like to share? Ilana, you have to unmute.
Um, being faced with physical challenges way earlier than I anticipated. To me, it means freedom.
Mm,
When you have a healthy body, it means that you've been able to. You can still do what you want, and I'm in the position of I haven't been on a tennis court or on a bicycle in 15 years, and I took that for granted. So I have learned not to be angry that this is what happened to me, and as to the best of my ability, I have made it part of my spiritual journey. I did ask my spiritual director when I fell and broke my arm. I said, "What's my lesson? What's my lesson here?" And she said, "Ellen, you just fell and broke your arm. That's it." So reality, humor, and never plaguing yourself with why me, but just dealing with it and living your best life under whatever circumstances you have been assigned. So that's what a healthy body, and I keep working at it. And at 77, I'm not going to be 45. But never being a supreme athlete, it's like fine. I'm good. For 77, I'm in good shape.
yes, you are. Thank
And,
you.
I'm on a cane, and I have made them into wishing canes, and I have had the most extraordinary experience with all sorts of people in doctors' offices and on the street and whatever. So I have made it a joyful experience.
Good for you. That's
So
amazing. Diane,
Debarty.
thank
Yeah,
you.
I want
Shmati.
to thank you, Betty, for reminding me of all my coaching, my wellness coaching trips, because they're popping in my head. So tell me to shut up if I talk too
Oh,
much.
no, please. Diane is a certified wellness coach.
Yeah.
And
Well, yeah. So the difference between wellness and health is wellness is a spectrum, and health, think of it like weather versus climate, where you might have a bad day, a snow and cold, but tomorrow might be different. So within that, there are all kinds of categories that contribute to wellness. But anyways, as far as health, I wanted to say it's very relative. If you put 5 people together and one person says, "Oh, I have lousy health, I can't do this, I can't do that, I used to be able to do this," and then you talk to somebody else and they say, "Well, I went outside and sat in nature, I went for a walk around the block, I played with my dog." They don't bring up what they can no longer do. They focus with what is available to them. And that is something that age can't take away from you for the most part. There almost is always something. I mean, I I'm saying that as a generality, but I
Thank-
just think attitude as far as that, but focus on what you can do.
Absolutely. Thank you, Diane. That takes us right into what I was going to talk about right next. So thank you for that. You know, when we're young, we expect to have a body that does what we want it to do. It moves, it doesn't hurt when we go up and down stairs. You know, for those of us who have had children, it amazes us when it produces another human being. And then now we talk about aging. We're all at a certain age, women of a certain age. What just happened to my body? Why is it not responding like it used to? And we've just gotten a little bit of that from Ellie and from Diane and Anel. Thinking of loss is a process that we all go through at certain times, especially as we age. Remembering that we used to hang upside down on the jungle gym. Who does that now? And what about biking, hiking, dancing till midnight, swimming, or jumping rope? All of these activities should be part of our lives as we age, but maybe in different ways. And we don't focus on the losses. I can't do that anymore, or I'm too afraid to try that again. There are many reasons, as some of you already mentioned, to be careful as we get deeper into our personal aging process. But the longer we can hold on to those aspects of these activities, the better you'll age. So I'm going to tell you my personal story, and I won't take up a lot of time about it, but just so you know, I grew up in a household where my mother was not an athlete by any stretch of the imagination. She grew up in a setting where girls of a certain social caliber or social standing don't sweat. And of course, I grew up before Title IX, so there weren't any competitive team sports for me to get involved in. My dad, however, was a jock, and I always saw him doing something very physical. And he actually had me do fencing with him when I was young. So I was part of that, a fencing person. And then I took ballet up through middle school. And then for a long time during college and then in my 20s, early marriage, pregnancies, blah, 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 life, I didn't do anything. I, was moving around a lot because I had young children, but I wasn't doing anything as far as helping myself keep my body in the best physical shape. And then for whatever reason, I don't even remember why, I decided I was going to do a marathon at age 50. I had been diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis in my late 30s, early 40s. And I was told that if I didn't start to take care of myself better, I would be incapacitated in my mid 60s, maybe even in a wheelchair. I was in a lot of pain and very fearful of what that would mean for my life. So I started doing a few things. I actually started a treatment program for the rheumatoid arthritis, which went into a type of remission. So I was able to be pretty functional up until 50. And then I thought, okay, I'll do a marathon. My dad took one look at me and said, "You'll never do it," which was just the encouragement I needed. So I said, haha, I'll show you. And I did do it. And he ran the last 5 miles with me, which was very special because he'd done several marathons at that point, and he was in his late 70s. So from that point on, I did 2 half marathons, one of them with Diane. We went down to Miami and did the Miami Rock and Roll Marathon, which was so much fun. And then after that, I did several 10Ks until my 60s. I did a sprint triathlon at 60. I decided I'll try that. I learned how to swim again so that I could actually breathe underwater. And sprint triathlon is the baby of all triathlons. You swim, bike, run. And it was a half-mile swim, a 10-mile bike, and a 3-mile run. And at that point, I was still running. And I was able to do that. And I did one every year until 2017, where I had a really terrible accident, which a lot of you know about. But a bridge I was walking across collapsed, and I crushed my left ankle and damaged the whole left side of my body. So I had 3 surgeries and about 5 years of recovery until I had an ankle joint replacement in 2021. And then went into rehab and physical therapy. But during those 5 years of recovery, I was like the little old lady walking across the street with a cane, and I hated that image of myself, just hated it. And I kept thinking, what am I going to do if this doesn't get any better? And it was a really difficult process in my brain to think about what would I do next. So the ankle joint replacement, I had a fabulous doctor at Duke University, and he said, if you do everything I tell you to do, with the surgery being in June, by October, you'll be hiking. And I did. It became my new religion. I did everything, and I was hiking in October. And then at 72, I did my next triathlon, which was just this last June. And I was able to swim a little over half a mile in the Chesapeake Bay, which was horrible, and a 15-mile bike and a 3-mile walk because I don't run anymore, but I can walk as fast as I run slow. So that has been my accomplishment and my putting myself out there, creating some goals, incremental goals, and getting myself to help my body recuperate. That's my personal story. If any of you would like to share a story about how you've dealt with injury or illness, as Alana shared earlier, what are some of the things that you did? How did you feel? What helped you to get through some of those situations? So would anyone like to share a quick Hannah Tina?
So a couple of years ago, I fell crossing the street and I fell on my knees and one of my knees was scraped and bleeding and I was concentrating on that. But the other leg hit the ground and it didn't have any visual damage. So I didn't think much of it. And a few weeks or months later, it started hurting. And I kept going to the doctor back and forth. At first, they thought it was like maybe like some bone on bone or some arthritis. Well, finally, after 2 years going through the medical system, first they do an x-ray, then they do an ultrasound. And then I finally got sent to a knee specialist who did an MRI. And they said I had a torn meniscus and torn ligaments. So they're trying to get me to do more physical therapy. And we have a gym in our building and it has an elliptical machine. And I was told to do 20 minutes 3 times a week going backwards. And when I do my exercises, I feel so much better.
Oh,
but I've been so busy, I don't always do them as I should. But I used to love to swim. And my best friend, I said, I was complaining to her that I haven't been to the pool in so long. And we both encouraged each other. I went to the pool this week and she went to the gym. So, and I'm hoping to go again, maybe tomorrow to the pool.
Good. So having a friend to do something with is wonderful because you kind of hold yourself accountable to that other person. And, you know, you get to do what you should be doing to help yourself. That sounds great. Please continue. It'll get better. Thank you. Anyone else? Annie, you have to unmute.
Well, you know, you're so right about when you do it with other people. You know, I have a dog, so I have to take him out. But my good friend Hannah Teferet Siegel lives just down the street. And when I'm about to go for a walk, I call her and I say, you know, do you want to walk? Because if I walk with her, we go way further and I don't even realize I'm walking. And I always say at the end of our walk, thank you. And Jasper thanks you, because if I wasn't walking with you, I would probably just walk around the block until he pooped and that would be the end. So I love a walk talk visit.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's great. So I thought we'd talk a little bit about some specifics, and I'm literally just going to skim the concepts of and the ideas of diet, hydration, and exercise. There's so much that we all need to know about ourselves in those areas. But again, there's such huge areas that I'm just gonna give you a little tiny taste of some of the things. We're all at the age when we metabolize nutrition at a slower level. You may realize that you don't need as much food or that you fill up faster. It is super important to make sure that you're getting enough calories, and those calories should optimize your metabolism and nutritional needs. You should be getting between 1,600 to 2,200 calories per day to maintain your weight. Obviously, this number is affected by our personal activity levels. Women who want to lose weight should eat between 1,700 and 1,900 calories per day. Loss of muscle mass also reduces the number of calories you need daily. I'm going to talk about muscle mass in just a minute. People, and women especially in our age group, need much more protein than previously thought because of the potential for bone loss and risk of fractures. I hope all of you get a DEXA scan at least every other year, if not yearly, because that is huge to know what your bone mass is looking like. Back to muscle mass. It's essential that we don't lose muscle mass as we age. Previous thought was that losing muscle was just part of aging. Not true. You can retain and, more importantly, regain muscle mass at any age. Muscle is what gives us strength, keeps our spine upright, and allows us to keep moving. When you see your primary care physician, please discuss with them your nutritional levels and recommendations for maintaining a healthy diet, including protein levels. I'm not going to discuss supplements or vitamins. If you're eating a healthy diet, you should be getting enough. Talk with your doctor and make sure you get lab reports back and understand them. Have them explain them to you so that you know if you are deficient in any area and what you can do about it. Diabetes and obesity are huge issues in our age group. Those are the #1 killers for over 70-year-olds, excluding cancers. Heart disease is a direct result of diabetes and obesity. Again, these are issues to discuss with your doctor. Last but never least is hydration. I know a lot of people in every age group who don't drink enough water for one reason. They don't like having to go to the bathroom frequently. Your body is literally about 60% water. Water is essential for bodily functions like regulating temperature and transporting nutrients. Symptoms of dehydration include dry skin and lack of energy, to brain fog and muscle cramps. How many of you get leg cramps at night? The effects of chronic dehydration reach all the way down to the cellular level, to your organs. They need water to function properly and remove metabolic waste from your body. Here's a fun trivia fact. Elevated cravings for sweet, sugary foods is a symptom of dehydration. The amount of water you need varies on your weight and activity levels. If you're thirsty on a regular basis, you're already dehydrated. At least 4, minimally to start, 8-ounce glasses of water, and then drink each day, and then work your way up to 8. I drink most of my water during the middle of the day. I try to finish by at least 6, maybe 7 p.m. at the latest, so I don't spend my night going to the bathroom. Dehydration creates the potential for urinary tract infections and bladder kidney issues. As we age, UTIs become more frequent and wreak havoc with brain function. Disorientation, mood swings, and psychosis are results of prolonged, asymptomatic, or undiagnosed UTIs. Has anyone had any of these issues in the past? Well, we're lucky. Another personal story, my mother-in-law was prone to UTIs. And as soon as she got one, I would say, oh, I'm sure she's got a UTI, because she would go crazy. And she passed away at 95. So, luckily we had her for a long time. But it was amazing how her personality changed with UTIs. And as soon as I saw that, I'd say to the doctor, she needs to have a bladder or a urinary tract infection check. And of course, 95% of the time she had another urinary tract infection. So hugely important to drink water. How many of you drink at least 5 glasses of water a day? Yay, good for you. Work your way up to 8. And as I said, during the middle of the day, it's great. I see Diane drinking because it flushes your system during the day when you're most active. There's Ellie. so that you can flush your system as your muscles are needing to get rid of waste and stuff. And then at night, you can actually rest without having to get up every hour on the hour to go to the bathroom, which is what happens a lot if you wait too long. Okay, so now we're going to talk about exercise. Does anyone know what the best movement is for staying independent as we age? Anyone want to take a guess? Ellie.
Walking,
Okay. Anyone else?
being on your feet.
Annelle?
Breathing, conscious breathing.
Oh, that's also good.
Very helpful. Yeah, we need to breathe. Anyone else? Okay, look, this is a surprise, guys. The number one determinant for not having to go into, quote, assisted living or being able to live independently is being able to get up out of a chair 10
getting out of the chair.
times without using
Right.
your arms.
Right.
Squats. Squats all the time. Squats. I think Rosemary posted something to me about that early in the chat.
So did Reb Nadia.
Yes.
Start with Red Nadia.
So I was going to try and show you how to do it, and I'm not sure I can, but maybe I'll send you all a video. Annie was
Are
going to
you
help me
sure
with
it's
that.
without using your arms? I mean, you're not using your arms on the chair.
Keeping your arm, yeah, not using your arms in the chair,
Right.
keeping your arms either here or
Well,
in front of
or
you.
in front of you. Yeah.
Right, right. Not using your arms to swing forward to give you the momentum. You need to be able to use your legs as the power, the
Right.
muscle power to get yourself up. But you know, not being able to get up out of a chair 10 times is what people, particularly in assisted living situations, or if you're going from independent living to assisted, that's the number one determinant, because then you need assistance. So really crucial to be able to, let me see if I can, I'm not sure I know how to do this actually, how to switch my camera around.
Well, I think if we can just see you doing it, like just see if we can see your chair, because like right now, yeah, I think that would work.
Okay,
Yeah,
let me
that
let me
was
do
You might have
that.
to stand back
I'm
a
gonna
little.
move. I'm gonna move to I'm in Florida right now, staying at a friend's house, and I don't have my usual, so I'm sitting on the sofa right now. Back this up a little bit so maybe you can see more. Is that helpful? So I've got my arms here. My legs are at a, I don't know if you can see it, 90-degree angle. It helps to be able to sit straight in your chair and not lean back or have to push yourself up out of a really deep reclining chair. But just keeping your arms like this, and then you use your muscles to get up. And then to sit down, don't fall back into a chair like that, but just control your movements, use your quads, and get up slowly, and then sit back down slowly. And you might have to, you know, practice this. The other way to do it is being able to just do a squat like this. And if this is as far as you can go with your knees. I'm having trouble with this, aren't I?
No, it's fine.
With your knees about hip width apart, and keeping your knees facing forward. Don't let them cave in and don't let them spread out, but just, and your toes pointed forward, just go down as far as you can. I'm limited in how far I can go down because of my ankle joint replacement. I don't have enough flexion in the front. So I actually, if I want to go down deeper, I have to spread my legs more and go down further. But to be able to get in and out of a chair, it's just probably about that much. And you sit your tushy down, keep your back straight, and then get up again. So if you practice that a few times every day, and then try and go lower and lower, because at some point you might find yourself on the floor
Right.
and be able to, let's see if I can do this over here. You want to be able to go down and keep going down and then get up again. And again, you might feel some little twinges from your hips, and they might say, don't make me do that. And you just do it slowly and carefully. If you want to be near something so you can have some stability, hold on to a counter or another table or chair, and just make yourself safe every time you try to do another exercise. But squats are really the most important thing. On my travel bucket list, I want to go to Africa. And I said, as long as I can do squats, because sometimes in Africa, you don't always find the nicest bathrooms, especially if you're out on a safari. So I'm like, if I can do squats, I can go. So that's the reason for me doing squats. It's so important to just being able to keep, being ourselves and being able to do the things that we want to do. So I'm going to talk about balance for a few minutes. As we age, we do lose balance, sometimes due to loss of vision, loss of hearing, and muscle weakness. That's why it's really important to make sure you see your eye specialist, your audiologist, and then do muscle work so that you can keep up with those kinds of things. As I said, the two very important exercises you need to learn to do is to be able to sit and stand from a chair without using your arms. And the second one is knowing how to get up and down off the floor. For those of us with grandkids and young grandkids, we find ourselves on the floor a lot. And then being able to get up off the floor without having someone haul us up or crawling over to a chair or a table is huge. More importantly, if you fall and you're not terribly hurt, just, bumped and bruised, you want to be able to get yourself back up off the floor and, if necessary, get to a phone to call someone for help. You don't want to try helping a partner if they fall without using the correct leverage and stance, because you don't want to mess up your back while you're helping a friend or a partner get up. I was going to try and show you a few moves for getting up and down, and we'll try this again. So bear with me. I appreciate your patience. So let's say you fall. Take the scarf off. Let's say you fall and you find yourself down on the ground and you're like sprawled on the ground. Unless you've hurt your shoulder or other part of your body, or your, one or the other arms or both arms, you want to be able to roll over onto a hip, put one arm in front of you, push up with that arm so that you're in kind of a tabletop position, and then very slowly work your legs up and up so that you have stability at this point. Some things may hurt, some things may not feel very good, and you would know if you've really damaged either a ligament or a tendon or broken a bone, because your arms or your legs won't let you do that. But if you're alone, and a lot of us live alone, you want to be able to get to at least this point so that you can move over to a table and get yourself up. So it's hugely important to know how to do that. I have a list of websites and some exercises that I sent to Annie, who I hope got them in time, and we'll put them in the chat or send them all to you. And as I think of some others, and maybe Diane also has some that she likes that she could send to me, and then we can send them to you. There are two women, particularly, who spend a lot of time on functionality issues. So being able to move around the house, do the things that you need to do, carry groceries, laundry baskets, etc., holding grandbabies, all of those are functionality movements. The two women I really love to look at on Instagram and on websites are Petra Fisher Movement. She's great. She's probably in her, I would say maybe mid-50s. She talks a lot about feet health, which is very important. And she's always moving just in normal situations like walking, hiking, maybe on a rocky beach. She's showing how she moves around rocks. She's hiking in the woods. But I think she's great and very down to earth and, real as far as never in a gym, always in nature, and just showing you how you can keep moving. My all-time favorite is this woman by the name of Kay Cleave. I think she's based in England, and her program is called Aging Disgracefully.
Oh, I've seen her.
I'm sorry, did somebody say something? Aging Disgracefully. She is fabulous. She has the most incredible attitude, and it's not just about exercise. She is very flexible, and there are some movements she does that make me think, how is that possible at her age? But she's kept up her flexibility and mobility all of her life. Those of us who have started late or are just starting to do those kinds of exercises can enjoy her attitude postings and really truly marvel at her abilities. I aspire to do some of her moves. I always look at her and go, well, if she can do it, I can do it too. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. So as Annie had said earlier, just walking for 30 minutes every day at a brisk pace will help you. It helps with weight loss and heart health. Having a friend just adds another wonderful layer to doing that. And of course, when I say brisk pace, I don't mean kind of sauntering, around the block. I'm talking where you can start to feel your heart get a little more active. Your breathing might get a little more shallow and you feel like maybe you're going to start panting or something. As long as you can talk while you're moving, you're at a good rate. If you get to the point where you can't talk anymore, then you need to slow it down and give yourself some time to recoup both your lung function and your cardio. But brisk pace means really moving. You can add a few low-level exercises, some chair exercises where you are sitting and doing, it's surprising what can make your heart go up just by doing some simple exercises, such as, keeping your arms up. I used to walk on the beach with my arms stretched out, with my fingertips up and then my fingertips down for a minute each time. And people used to think I was crazy, but it really helps being able to keep your arms up and create that back strength. So doing these kinds of simple exercises while you're sitting is also really good. And don't forget stairs. Some of us look at stairs as our enemy. I certainly wasn't able to use stairs for a long time, so I can appreciate that. But use it or lose it. Hip flexibility and mobility is lost if you don't use your hips, which is the #1 cause of hip fractures. So if you don't want to risk that, I would encourage you to walk steps as many times as you can during the day. If you live in an apartment, such as I do now, without steps, I don't ever use, I'm luckily on the first floor, but I have to walk down 2 flights of steps to the garage and then 1 flight of steps to our laundry room. So I never use the elevator. I always walk steps. Again, really important to avoid hip fractures and to increase your hip mobility. Try to do some small movement exercises while you're standing at the sink. There are several that you can do, like standing on your toes. Don't let your ankles fall in or fall out. Stretching your back, which means pushing away from the counter. Let's see if I can do this so that you can see it. This is a really good one because, let's see here. I'm looking for something to hold this up so you can see it. Just standing at the counter straight, holding on to the counter, and then going back so that your legs are right underneath your hips, and then just pushing back and stretching your back. For those of us that have some small lower back compression issues or disc issues, it creates space within those discs, and you really feel a lot of relief. And just hold that for a few seconds. Do it several times while you're standing at the sink. Take a break from either washing dishes or pots and pans, and stretch your back. And then the balance one that I really like is standing at a counter. If you have a long counter or banister in your home, and walking heel to toe to make sure that you can walk balanced and keep your balance upright without falling over if you're walking on a curb, for example, or needing, to walk in a straight line somewhere. Walking heel to toe, and again, holding on for stability, is a huge, huge movement for increasing your balance. And then we get to developing your arm, shoulder, and back strength. Also very important. Being strong in your upper body allows you to carry groceries, laundry baskets, and grandbabies without hurting yourself. And your pets. Sometimes you need to carry a pet when they've decided they've had enough exercise from walking and don't want to walk home anymore. I go onto a YouTube video called Annie Taylor Arms, which I love. She uses 2 and 3 pound weights for a 5-minute workout. 5 minutes, that's all it takes to make a huge difference with your arm, back, and shoulder strength. Some of us have shoulder issues where we've either had some injury to our shoulders or we don't feel our shoulders can move. Just doing shoulder rolls every morning when you wake up is wonderful. Being able to put your arms up over your head with your elbows straight is another good exercise. No weights, just your own body strength, and then being able to move your arms and shoulders around. Those of us who have had shoulder surgery, I have not, but I know a lot of people struggle with frozen shoulder issues. So you have to be careful. Make sure that if you're going to try doing some of these exercises, that you do them without weights first, just to make sure you don't have pain or movement issues. And then try Annie Taylor. She's young, she's pretty fabulous looking, and it might, scare you off, but don't be scared by how she looks. Just do the exercises and enjoy that flexibility and strength you'll gain from that.
Did
You should
say,
be doing, I'm sorry.
you said
Yes.
10 minutes? How
5
much time
minutes.
did, 5, 2 to 3
5.
pound weights, 5 minutes?
Yes.
Interesting.
Your
Okay,
arms
good.
never come down. When you're holding the
Right.
weights, your arms
Right.
never come down from shoulder length to shoulder height. So it's amazing what 2 pound weights
She
will
just
feel
this
like.
way? Yeah.
No, when you're doing, she
Or
does
just hold,
this kind of
oh,
exercise.
this.
She does
Okay.
these.
Yeah. Okay.
She does these. It's a whole series, and she does them pretty quickly. She moves from one to the other pretty quickly, but it's only for 5 minutes. And I went from 2 pounds to 3 pounds recently, and I realized that I had to stop in the middle and take a breath because my shoulders and my upper arms were really feeling it. You do feel the burn, as Jane Fonda used to say. So it's a good way to start. Do as much as you can, take a breath, rejoin, but it's only 5 minutes and it's amazing. It's great. So Annie Taylor Arms, I think I sent that to Annie, right, Annie? Yep, good. So you should be doing muscle strengthening exercises, some cardio exercises where you're literally exercising your heart muscle and increasing your lung capacity. Keeping your legs and arms strong and your spine straight provides you with the ability to be functional well into your aging process. So, it's we still have some time, and I'd like to talk with you all and have you all share some of your exercise goals and what you do. But, here we are at the beginning of the secular year, and maybe some of us have set some goals about what we want to do for our bodies this time of the year. And unfortunately, a lot of us give up within the first 2 weeks because, we miss that opportunity. We forgot to go to the gym if we go to a gym. We didn't get up in time to do those exercises. It's okay. Just do a reset. I just listened on NPR last week about this. And, you know, we set ourselves up for failure if we say, oh, I didn't do it all last week, so I'm never going to start. Just start up again. It's okay. It's just for you, what you're doing for yourself. So whenever you start, it's a good day to start. If you live where it's cold, go to a shopping mall and walk around, like I said, at a brisk pace for 30 minutes and walk up to an hour. Get your heart rate going. It's all about strengthening what we have and maintaining our abilities to be independent, strong, and healthy. I'm sorry, is someone talking to me? Nope.
I was coughing. I'm sorry, Betty.
Oh, sorry. No.
Mute. I thought.
If it sounds like it could be a lot of work, think about the alternatives. The alternatives aren't good. Not being able to care for yourself or to help your partner, not being able to enjoy time with grandchildren, moving around, doing things with them, not being able to go on trips that require a moderate activity level. Start to prioritize your health and your strength with small steps to keep building mobility, balance, and strength and health to optimize your life and all those wonderful activities you want to continue participating in. Thank you so much for joining in today, and I'd love to hear more from all of you. Did I just lose you? Oh,
We're here.
Okay, sorry. I couldn't
Can
find
I
you there
say
for a second.
something, Betty?
Please.
Before I forget, because I forget things so fast. One of the concepts that I am a proponent of is what I call stealth health, which is all the little things that you can sneak in during the day so that you don't have that overwhelming, did I exercise, didn't I? First of all, you want to get rid of the word exercise and change it to movement, because essentially that's what it is.
Absolutely.
And movement can be anything from, it can be, you know, even now it can be, or dancing or doing the cha-cha or anything at all. But when you work it into your day, like when you walk on your way to the kitchen or on your way out of the kitchen, you can, you know, you can do something, wiggle, dance, something like that. And I used to do, when I was going down to do the laundry, to picking up those big, you know, the laundry detergent and those things. And I don't know how much they weigh, but just work in a couple of, and you can set up a park course in your house. Every time you go around one room to the other, you do 4 squats or 5 squats. You know, you just sort of work those things in, just little things. And you can even do, I call mini meditation breaks, moments, because they're really moments, which I call pauses, where you just sit and close your eyes and breathe slowly, and, you know, can be short. These things don't have to be major, but they're cumulative, so they do all add up. And what Betty said about, you know, figuring out which movements you like to do that will increase muscle strength, stretching, you know, mobility, stretching, and then also balance, and figure out some little things where you kind of focus on an intention, a kavanah. Like if you think of movement as moving prayer,
yes,
you know, or body prayer, you can put that into your movements. And also posture. Posture's huge.
Posture is huge.
And most of us are hunched over most of the time. So
which we don't want to be.
Right. And it takes a lot of practice to catch yourself when you're like that. So you can do a shoulder readjustment and let your arms hang, just hang by your sides after you roll them backwards. And that's where they're supposed to be.
Yes,
most of us are more like
forward
this.
or hunched up around your ears.
A lot of this is just being conscious of little habits, because I know you talked about habits. It's catching yourself and recorrecting and adding in fun movement. That's it.
Thank you, Diane. That's all helpful. And it's really what Diane is saying is body awareness awareness of your own body at any time, in any space, in any place. So when you're at the computer, a lot of us go forward like this and also stick our necks out. And we get that, what they call the front chin hang kind of thing. And there is an exercise, for that you can avoid. For those of you who spend a lot of time at the computer, you sit at the computer with your, sorry, I'm going the wrong way there, with a straight back. So your back is not hunched, straight, and then keeping your chin level to the floor. It's a very subtle exercise, but you can feel the muscles in the back of your neck. You just tuck your chin in. This is it. That's the whole exercise. But you can feel it. Did y'all see it? And it helps you, it helps your body from getting into that forward neck. I don't know, I think they call it the whooping crane look or something, but you don't want to develop that look. I see that with a lot of older men who've spent their lives in front of a computer or whatever. The other exercise that I did want to talk about, which I didn't mention, is being able to touch your toes. How many of you can do that? Touch your toes. Raise your hands. It's sometimes difficult. Oh, Nadja there. Okay, so here is one way of doing it, which I just actually watched the other day on YouTube. There's an Indian woman, a woman from India who I really like, who was showing that you don't want to do this. You don't want to sit here and, kind of try to push your body down, because it creates a lot of pressure and tension here, and it could hurt your back. So again, keeping your legs hip width apart. Her suggestion was to go down as far as you can. If this is it, try to keep your knees straight, but have a little bit of a bend so you don't lock your knees, and just hold on to your shins for a minute and drop your head. And then bend a little bit, go a little bit further down, drop your head. And then go back down a little bit, bending your knees some more, drop your head, and eventually you'll be able to get down there. Now, I do touch my palms to the floor every morning when I get up, so that wasn't too hard for me. But for those of you who can't do it just to the point where you can feel the stretch, and then let up a little bit. And just incrementally try doing that every day to the point where you can at least get your fingertips down to the floor, and then go from there. Because it's really important to keep your spine and your hips that flexible as we age. Anyone else have any other good suggestions that they do?
I've been swimming at the Y a couple times a week.
The best exercise.
I don't swim real hard, but what I do sometimes is I'll do like a lap fast, and then when I get to the other end, I'll just lay back and let the water carry me to wherever it carries me, because then it helps me with whatever stress I'm feeling in other situations, so that I can get that immediate relaxation. And I swim for the Hebrew letters, which, helps my connection. And the other thing that I have noticed, if it's not one thing, it's another. Last year, I finally had my stomach taken out of my chest, and it's tacked down to my abdomen. And as a result of that, I started eating all the stuff that I used to eat that I loved. And after about 6 months of eating all the stuff that I shouldn't be eating, all of a sudden I started getting like pains in like this area. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going to have a heart attack. So, I contacted my cardiologist, because we do have to keep on top of things. And I
Yes,
was
you
at a
do.
New Year's party, and somebody said to me, I just had a stent put in and I passed every test, which of course I always pass every test because I walk, I swim. I said, maybe I need a cardiac cath. And she said, yeah, we'll schedule you for February 4th. But in between, I went to my ear doctor, who told me about the LPR, the laryngeal pharyngeal reflux, which you can hear. I have a drop of it now, and that hoarseness in my throat. And so I started changing my diet, and all of a sudden I got no symptoms over here anymore. And I wrote to the doctor today, let's hold off on the cardio cath. So I'm a really big believer in what you eat makes a difference.
Huge.
In the exercise, we have to keep moving. I love how Diane said that stealth exercise. I never heard that term before. I think it's brilliant. And I'm a real proponent of breathing.
Don't
Doing
forget to breathe.
conscious breathing. I do that on a regular basis. I mean, we all got to breathe. If we don't breathe, we're dead. But if you can learn to really connect the breath, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, totally. Thank you. That was
Goodbye.
great. Thank you. Ellie?
Yeah, two things that I do that I'd like to share is, first of all, I do Qigong.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been doing Qigong 10 years, maybe 8 years. I don't remember anymore. Once a week with a Chinese practitioner. She's actually Israeli, who goes to China, who goes here, goes everywhere. And she's constantly going to more courses, does it on Zoom, all through Corona, through COVID. And her philosophy, and she does Qigong for women. And her thing is that it's not just important the movement or the exercise as much as also what you're aware of and what you notice in your system, in your body, and to be aware of anything that hurts or is a pain or something that's not functioning is a sign of a blockage of the chi of anything that's, so that's first of all that awareness I think has kept me on a certain even keel for many years. And the other thing that I've been doing also for many, many years, I'm also trained um, uh, uh, water aerobics exercise instructor, which I really never ever did. I mean, I did it. I used to do it regularly. I mean, I do it. I still do. I go to hydrotherapy once a week. And I have a hydrotherapist there and I do exercises in the water. They give me extra things if I want to do it. I do things that I know I need to do. And the water is a healer of its own right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, especially, it doesn't matter if you swim, but the movement and the concentration of what, particularly warm water, I have to say, not cold water that you need for swimming, are really the healers of our system, that they can definitely, I get out of the water, I can do things in the water that I can't always do on land. That's number one. And I've definitely prevented certain things. I thought I was going to prevent a hip replacement, but it didn't work. So I did one, but I'm working on it so I don't have to do the other one. But I think hip replacements is the best gift of modern medicine to man.
It is.
Because even better maybe than a heart, something heart, because it's so, and they say even it's even better than knees. I don't know about ankles. You'll have to tell us about that. But that's now over 2 years. The reality though for me, and I go to the gym supposedly 3 times a week, but I tell the guy who I work with is a Russian, and he has his own system, and it's actually really amazing because he gives exercises that, and even if it's hard or I have pain, he changes it because he knows what he wants me to be able to do.
Right.
And he himself has gone through his own life experiences. Somebody told me, I mean, he was in the Russian army, and he learned, I think, sports medicine in Russia, and he actually came to Israel on a stretcher, and he put himself back into functioning. That he looks totally normal, but he doesn't have. He says to you every once in a while, because he doesn't write clearly, he says, well, I don't have feelings in some of my fingers. So his writing is not always, I understand it now after a while, but he is a special person in his own right.
Mm.
And he does work on I tell him I don't want to do more than 45 minutes. So that's enough for me. But there are people who spend hours there. That's not for me. But
Well,
but
they
I
could,
do other things. That's the
right?
issue. I do other things. I do qigong for an hour a week. I do water aerobic or hydrotherapy. Well, now it's up to an hour. They give us now an hour. It used to be a half an hour. Now we do it half an hour with the instructor or the therapist, and then we on our own for half an hour. So that's and my cardiologist says get out and walk. I mean, whatever. I need to lose weight. That's definitely true. And I also am pre-diabetic. So I've been from all directions I've been told this. So far I'm in this kind of lull where it'll go up, down, up a little, down more, up. I haven't gotten up to where I was before, but I'm down and I have no interest in making it fast. Let's put it that way. It will be what it'll be.
Well, and there's no point in making it fast because then
I
you
agree.
tend to jump back up into where you were before.
Well,
Slow
I've
and
been there, done
steady.
that.
Yeah, slow and steady is the way to go. And I would encourage you to drink more water, especially a glass of water before you sit down to eat. And that will really help. And then just try and get out there and walk.
Well, I have two interesting experiences since the end of the holidays, since the end of Simchat Torah. This year, I have lost my voice. I don't
Mm,
know. It's better now, but it's almost 3 months, I would have to say. I actually had terrible cough, and the ears, nose, and throat doctor diagnosed it as a bleeding vocal cord. I managed
mm,
to really kill my coughing. It's better, but I have to go back to him because the voice is not back to what it
right.
was. What is my voice? And the others, this last week, I'm Corona. I have COVID.
You have COVID
So
this week? Oh,
yeah, I'm on day 5. And then
oh,
according to Israel, that's already a day I can go out.
here
And
too.
here too also? No, I think
Mm,
you have to be, well, but I was not out much this week at all. Didn't go to my exercises. I did do my qigong because it was on Zoom. I didn't go to the water. I didn't get
yeah.
to the gym. I tried to do stuff in the house, but my energy is not the same. I can tell. Even before this session, I almost thought I wasn't even going to show up. I took a nap because I couldn't. I
And
can
it's
feel
late.
that what?
It's late where you are.
It's not just late. No, it wasn't late. It was I did something. I did an errand today, and as my husband said, when I came home and I just laid down, he says, you may have overdone it. I said, maybe.
Well, that's the important thing. Listen to your body. Your body will tell you, don't do this to me anymore. I can't do it. And that's your clue.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And my Chinese practitioner this afternoon said to me, I bet you're tired of being sick.
I've had COVID 3 times. And the last time, and I won't take Paxlovid because I had a terrible rebound effect. But this last time was in September. And I just got the newest booster before I came down here to Florida. So hopefully I won't get it again. Naja, did you have something?
We don't take the booster is not it's not like it was in the beginning.
Mm,
I have to actually fight for it if I'm gonna get it.
mm,
We'll have to see. My doctor was not so keen on it. We'll see I'm in the process. Thank you for
Thank
listening.
you. Thank you. Naja.
What just occurred to me listening to Ellie is that it's really important for us to also um, honor the fact that it takes our bodies longer to recover as we get older. And we have a tendency, so I,
And there's,
sorry.
bless you. Love you.
Well, I came home from London sick and spent a week in bed. I've never spent a week in bed that I can remember. I had no energy. I had a deep deep cough. This is nothing for what I had. And I was negative for COVID. I don't know. I never had a fever, so I had no idea what it was. But I was completely exhausted, and the cough, and I lost my voice. Those of you who were at the Lights of Yerusha know that I had no voice at that point. That was from the cough. You know, it bruised my larynx. And I'm the kind of person that, you know, in the past was like, oh, I don't feel so well. I'll go put my feet up for 30 minutes and then I'll hit the ground running again. It's like, I, and that's one of the things too at this stage of my life. I took my body for granted for so many years, you know, 4 babies and bounced right back, you know, all that stuff. And I didn't take good care, you know, I mean, I was always active, right? but but now I'm also learning to just honor the fact that it takes longer to recover. I don't have to I don't have to know why, and I have to exercise patience, and that's, you know, really important. I will say that uh, when when in 2014 our kids for our anniversary gave us the gift of a personal trainer. And their line was, you know, you're not getting younger and we want to keep you around as long as we can. We want you guys to work on. That was the year that Victor was diagnosed with COPD and quit smoking. So it was perfect timing because he was right quitting smoking at that point. And we worked with this guy twice a week until COVID hit. And, you know, with COVID, we couldn't get together. But I had worked with him so long enough that I knew how to keep it up, right? So I have a traveling TRX system that hangs from a door in my hallway here, and I go out and that's how I do my squats and my, you know, all the stuff for my back and whatever, with these straps, the TRX straps. And and he taught us, you know, the kind of squats that I do is standing up against the wall and going down until my legs are at 90, my knees are at 90 degrees, and holding that as long as I can, right? So, you know, I can do 3-4 minutes before I'm screaming.
That's impressive.
That's good enough for me. And I have to do a lot of stretching. So the reason I really can't get all the way down to my toes is because of stuff in my lower back that's caught, you know. And so I do a lot of stretches, but his focus was entirely, Betty, I loved hearing you say this. His focus, he specialized in older adults, this trainer that we worked with happened to be Victor's age. So but very active, a skier, a runner, a marathoner, all of that. And his focus was on balance more than anything. We did balance exercises, you know, all the time with him. You know, he'd have us stand on a thing, you know, a wooden thing that's got a ball under it, you know, the wobble thing, and then he'd throw a ball at us, and we'd have to catch the ball and throw it back, and you know, like those kinds of things. So I don't have all that equipment here, but one of the really important things that he suggested, which I do all the time, is stand on one foot when you're brushing your teeth.
At the grocery line, stand on one
At
foot.
the grocery line, another thing, yeah, another way. Or, you know, I do this thing where I put, you know, I pull one leg up to my knee, you know, and stand that way for a while. And and whenever I'm standing up at a counter or whatever, I put my foot up on the counter and stretch. Like it's like those are the kinds of things that you know, I love the stealth, you know, the stealth stuff because I do stuff throughout the day in my house all the time that I remember that he taught us. And he would have us get down on the floor and get up from the floor without using our arms. Right. And which I can actually
if
still
you can
do
it, it's being able to, let's see if I can, being able to just do this.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
And then go back down.
Yeah. And I can still do that. Victor, you know, is another story altogether. But, you know, my inspiration was when my mother was a very heavy woman and very unhealthy and didn't take care of herself. And when she was in assisted living, you know, we had to get her an easy chair that lifted her up and basically pushed her out because she couldn't get up on her own. But when she was sitting in a chair, she'd sit there and like she had to get up and she'd hold on to the arms of the chair and she'd do this, she'd rock back and forth and she'd go, come on, legs, come on, legs, come on, nope, come on, legs. You know, we'd watch her do this anyway. And my back injury actually started when I tried to help my mother get up off of a toilet seat.
Yeah.
We were at a family member's house and they didn't have bars and it was a lower seat than she had at home. And she called me into the bathroom because she couldn't get up off of it.
Yeah.
And as I say, my mother was a very large woman and I'm not such a large woman. And I did real damage to my back trying because she wouldn't let anybody else in there. It was embarrassing. So, so that was my inspiration to stay in shape, was watching how my mother really struggled for so many years at the end of her life. And I don't want to be that person.
And having had that experience, yeah, clearly you don't want to be that person, or any of us who have had friends who have started to struggle with some of those mobility issues. It's sad. It's sad, and you don't want to see them struggle, and certainly you don't want to be in the position of having to ask for help to get up off the toilet or out of a chair. And these are small. I love Diane, stealth exercises, because it's things that you can do every day that are part of your natural movement anyway. But if you have your body awareness and you can take a minute to just take a deep breath and say, oh, I'm standing at the counter. I should, stand on my toes for 2 seconds, or put my leg up, or whatever. These are things that you can do literally after a while without thinking. You just start to do them because you're standing there. And those all help with the really important issue of balance and mobility and being able to function as we age.
I was just thinking that if there were a very lightweight water bottle carrier that you could just keep on while you're in the house and refill as needed, it would make it much easier and less of having to make a conscious decision to go get a glass of water.
I just keep teacups all over the house.
Anna could knit something up in a minute for that. I know you could.
Well, there are water bottles, and there's those camelbacks and stuff, but you don't want to carry.
No, I just
your
mean
house.
something, a crossbody thing that's just lightweight, and then you just keep it with you.
Well, I keep cups of tea all over the house, and I sometimes spend my day drinking cold tea, but it's better than nothing. So I like hot tea. Anyone else? We're getting close to our end of our time here. Any other suggestions or thoughts? Rosemary, did you have anything? Because you were so helpful. I appreciate it.
No, yeah, so I heard the whole thing. So no, I just, I'm reading Gretchen Rubin. She talks about habits and forming habits, and she says, know yourself. So I know for me, I have to go to the gym, and I have to go to the gym. I can't rely on anything else. I started yoga at home, and I'd turn off my screen and I'd get a little drink, and then I'd go, it's time for a little snack. And the next thing I knew, I wasn't doing yoga. So I go to the gym and do my yoga and my weights and my body. I've been doing it pretty consistently, and I feel strong and good. I feel good. But everything you said, I've been taking notes. It's so useful and so helpful, but also know yourself, what's good for you. I walk every day. I don't know. I have to check off things, make lists, and then I do it. But I don't do it if I just let it happen.
And that, I think, is, thank you for that. The key, you can't just let it happen. You have to have intention behind all of this. The intention to keep your body healthy as you can be. Some of us have chronic health issues. I have the rheumatoid arthritis. I have lower back issues. I have a torn right meniscus. All of those things. But if you don't know that, number one, know what your limitations are, know what you can and cannot do, and then intentionally set aside 10 minutes a day to lift your foot, or to spend 30 minutes a day walking outside, or, 10 minutes at the end of the evening. I do a lot of my exercising at the end of the day because I'm not a morning person. So I know that about myself. I'm not a morning person. I walk and do those kinds of things during the day. I swim, but to do exercises like squats or weightlifting, I do those at the end of the day because they help me sleep better at night. And I know that. So
Yeah.
it's those kinds of things, knowing yourself.
Yep, it's true. She says, like, know if you're a procrastinator, know if you're this, know if you're that. And like with sugar, are you an abstainer? Do you have to give it up entirely, or can you eat one cookie a day? Well, I cannot eat one cookie a day, so I'm an abstainer. So these are things I've learned. But also the funny thing about going to the gym is it becomes really fun social time. There's a couple people I know from my way. Like there's one guy, he introduces me. This is my girlfriend from high school. I swear to God, we never went out, but he thinks of me as his girlfriend from high school. So these are, I see people at the rec center from high school, from teaching, from new friends. Greg goes at his own time, and so we pass each other in the rec center. But it becomes a social thing. And anyway, Gretchen Rubin has been helpful for me right now in creating new habits.
What's the name of that book?
Her new book is, well, she has a book on habits. I don't know the name of it. Her first book was something on happiness, finding happiness, and she wrote each month. She kind of researched a part of happiness, and then as she researched, she kind of got into habits, and then she wrote a book on habits.
And her full name is
Gretchen Rubin.
Rubin. Okay, thank you.
And she has a great website. You can self-assess. You can take the checklist to see if you're what kind of person, she can do all things with you. She has lots of little checklists, and I find her so positive.
That's great. That's what we need. Think
Yeah.
about these things in a positive way, not what is it that we can't do, but what is it that we can do and enhance those and just keep working on them to where
Yeah,
they
I
feel
just want to
good.
share this other thing that she makes, these chaffles, which are cheese waffles. So I got a little waffle maker, and you just put cheese and egg and some almond flour in the little waffle maker. And it's a high protein, like I'm all about high protein, low carbs. And so she had this, I even was reinforced with her by this little waffle maker that makes a high protein breakfast.
Great.
Cute.
Protein is so important at our age. Thank you. That was fabulous. Okay. I think we're almost at the end here. Anyone else?
Now I want to invite Diane to talk up to us about wellness in like August, September. You know so much. It would be so fun to just add
It
on.
would be. Diane is a fountain of information. Yes.
You let me know, Diane.
Okay.
I want to thank everybody and to send wellness, to send healing to Ellie and to Rabnaja and to anybody else who feels that they just need a little bit more strength, a little bit more light, a little bit more healing.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you all.
Thank you,
I really
Betty.
had fun myself doing this. I hope you all enjoyed it.
And thanks for sharing the
Betty.
resources.
Oh,
And Annie will
great,
send
Betty.
those out.
Thank you, Betty. Wonderful.
Thank you,
Very good.
Annie.
We'll
And
send
thank
the
you, Annie,
resources.
for your help with sending out that info. And if I'll remember who's on here. If I find more websites and stuff, I'll send them to you. But do go find Aging Disgracefully on Instagram. She'll make you laugh. You'll be amazed at what she can do. And I just love her attitude. It's all about attitude.
You are so inspiring, triathlon person with, oh
Yes.
my God.
I just started training for my one I'm hoping to do one this summer again. Although I'll be traveling a lot. I'm taking my family to Galapagos because my oldest granddaughter's graduating high school and she
Wow.
wants to go into marine biology. So what would be a more perfect place than Galapagos? But it'll be interesting. But I'm hoping to do my next triathlon sometime in the fall.
If you got to Philly, call me. I'd love to see you.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I will be because my daughter's in Philly. Thank you.
I just want to mention our next Wisdom Circle, which is going to be on February 13th. And Anna L. is going to facilitate, and the topic will be caregiving.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you so, so much. That was so informative and so inspiring.
Thank you. You all are
Thanks,
inspirational.
Betty. I'm
Okay.
inspired.
Thanks.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
The love.
Bye.